Signal.
Sheikh, I have a question to. Sorry, I know you just keep pausing. I have a question for the Sheikh on that because it's a good follow up for Mufti, and also Sheikh, if you want to add to it, please as well. There's this notion nowadays that you can only take knowledge from a certain band of scholars, say for example, and this is not specific to any particular group in Islam. This is a notion that people have. And what I found really interesting was the hadith of Abu Hurairah. When the devil came to him basically and he taught him here's the kursi, and the Prophet ﷺ said to him, "Sadaqaka wa huwa kadhub." He spoke the truth and he's a liar. Is it when it comes to taking knowledge or taking even some aspects of the deen, I'm going to be straightforward here, it's taking some aspects of the deen. We find, and this is more your field, Sheikh, we find some rawis in Bukhari that are like, say for example, Khawarij or something like this, or maybe Shia Tafdiliyya or something like that. To what extent, bearing all of this in mind, is it allowable in Islam to take knowledge from someone who's not from, let's say, Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah?
Sorry. Question, very important question. I think it's similar to what you mentioned in the debate yesterday. The atheist saying that I have no faith, everything is scientific, everything is empirical, so on and so on and so forth. And you said that's not true. But you do have faith in many things, many views and opinions and principles you've accepted without doing your own specific research. So I think this same rationale has to be used against these people who say you can't take from this one because he has a khata. It's like mathematics, and you mentioned that as well. 1 + 1, 2 + 2, so on and so forth. Okay, the Salaf, this is what they say, totally unanimously agreed that nothing is taken from anyone who is a mubtadi'. Tayyib. Is that absolutely true? We're not going to get into that right now. Is that true? Fil jumla, ka asl, ka theory, as a theory? Okay, say this. Next step, you've made a mistake, not a bid'ah. You made a khata, but we translate the khata into bid'ah. Step number 3 is, wala nisf kalima. We can't hear half of what you're saying. Plug the ears. So therefore, you made a mistake. You don't sit with these brothers. You don't like this scholar went from you. And that equals, we avoid Ahlul Bid'ah, and that equals kada, kada, kada. No problem. All right, no problem. But that's not absolutely true. Rather, there are many people that you do take from and learn from that had innovations, rather were mubtadi'ah. Were innovators, let alone kuffar. Okay, some years ago they were saying, and I don't want to mention no names, but they were saying you can't take from an unknown translator or a Hizbi translator, and there's a difference between a mubtadi' and a sahib bid'ah and a sahib this and that, all these exotic terms to play games with the people. But what about the dictionary that you read? Webster-Merriam dictionary, is that, who wrote that dictionary? What about the compass? What about the almanac? What about this? But we didn't get into Islamic books yet. How many things do you use on a daily basis that were written by kuffar? That determines when you pray. That determines what direction in which you pray. That determines so many other things. When your child reaches puberty, what is the ruling on taking from those people? You go in that without any discernment, you take it. Why? Because the information is clearly sound. So if that's the case with a kafir, فما بالك بمسلم. What do you think about a Muslim? So regardless of getting into the details in a fight with them, because they're going to bring this sheikh, and blah, blah, blah. Let's just be realistic. How many people do you take from that said all types of horrendous things about Allah's attributes, His names, Sahaba, and the list goes on. Whether it's, and the list goes on, and the list goes on. Okay, so I think that the people have to be stopped in their hypocrisy. And don't get into the game of the proof and the evidence, because they're going to have a bag full of tricks. They bring them all types of athar. You bring an athar, that's not what's meant. You bring a statement of a scholar, we only take Quran or Sunnah. You bring Quran or Sunnah, we only take what scholars say. You can't win. You can't win. And if you beat them intellectually with dalil, then they'll just call you a bad name. As the Shafi'i is quoted to have said, مَا نَظَرْتُ عَالِمًا إِلَّا غَلَبْتُهُ. I never debated with a scholar except that I beat him without any pride. I was undefeated. وَمَا نَظَرْنِي جَاهِلٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَنِي. And I never debated with a fool except that the fool beat me. And that's because fools don't take science, but they give intel. So you beat the debate, you defeat me, to Hizbi, and you're mutakabbir, and you're mutalawan, and mutasattir, and all the words and exotic terms. So you got to know for sure you cannot beat them at that game. You quote Quran and Sunnah, they bring scholar. You quote scholar, Quran and Sunnah. You quote Quran and Sunnah and a scholar, he's not the biggest scholar, you can't win. So just stop them in their hypocrisy. You guys cut it out. If we can't take nothing from an innovator, then get rid of this book and get rid of that book and don't take from this person and this mistake and that mistake and so on and so forth. Once you burn half of the Islamic library, then let's sit down and talk about taking from Ashab al-Bid'ah and so on and so forth. Then we can talk. You have to purge your system of hypocrisy. You're not keeping it real. You take from many people that are clear innovators or the innovations. And there's no difference between a book, between Nawawi, Bayhaqi, Ibn Hajar. There's no difference. Whether they're dead or alive. We're not supposed to take anything unless it's 100%. Dead, alive, in a book or not. Period. So stop the hypocrisy. Stop. Let's stop. Once you get rid of the hypocrisy, then let's sit down. لِنَتَنَاقَشْ. Let's debate on هل يجوز, is it permissible to take from of an innovator? Not a talib ilm who made a mistake. A sheikh who made a mistake. No, a mubtadi'. Let's look at the hardcore dalil from the Quran, Sunnah, from Bukhari, like you mentioned, from Imam Muslim's book, Imam Ahmed's book, let's look at the hardcore adillah. And we did this some months back. We read from Ibn Rajab's Kalam and Sharh al-Tirmidhi about Imam Ahmed, taken from the Qadri, taken from the Murji, taken from this person, and they gave no response. They gave no response. We mentioned our proofs, our masadir. Ibn Khuzaymah, Imam Muslim, Abu Dawood narrated a Shi'i Jald, and this one and that. We mentioned all of the names and they gave no response because they can't give a response. Because they're hypocritical, they're immature in knowledge, they're hasty. If it's a refutation, everyone will come and listen. You open up Sahih Bukhari and read, only a few people will come. So my advice, and of course, being from Philadelphia, yani, they're the cronies of the people from the UK. They're their stoops.
You're refuted after this. You're done.
The reality of the Sheikh, most of these people who engage in this, you find that they have not exceeded the elementary level of knowledge.
No.
They haven't got past Ajrumiyya, they haven't got past Surah Thalatha, they haven't got past Baykuniyya. These are the people who are either, like I said, either saying from the Salaf down, Malik is wrong, Ahmad is wrong, till today, Mufti is wrong, he's a mubtada, he's an innovator. It's the same methodology amongst these people, is that you start learning a few letters, and now you are the Imam of Jarh Ta'dil, everyone's wrong, you are right, and in reality, they have not passed the elementary level of knowledge. And I give them an excuse in that we actually all kind of went through these type of phases where in the beginning we thought we knew everything.
For sure.
And then the more you learn, the more you realize how flexible Islam is and the rich tradition that we have and the various legal and theological and various opinions, logical opinions in various sciences that are just as valid, just as strong, and everyone has their position and their evidences for their position. And you get to respect that and you become much more laid back, much more mellow, and you realize that I'm not going to speak because I don't have knowledge.